It was a typical cloudy day in Oakville, Washington when the first gelatinous blobs appeared. No one knew where they came from or what they were, but one thing was certain. They were causing quite a stir in the small town. On August 7, 1994, a rainstorm unlike any other descended upon the city of Oakville, unleashing not raindrops but rather these mysteriously translucent, gelatinous blobs. The blob rain reportedly came down in torrents, covering as much as 20 square miles. Anyone within the vicinity of this strange rain came down with severe flu-like symptoms. A police officer, David Lacey, was on patrol with a civilian friend when the blobs began raining down at around 3 in the morning. We turned our windshield wipers on, and it just started smearing to the point where we could almost not see. And we both looked at each other and we said, "Geez, this isn't right. I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere, basically, and where did this come from?" Even after Officer Lacey pulled into a gas station to clear up his windshield, he further noted the bizarre consistency of this goo. The substance was very mushy. It's almost like if you had Jell-O in your hand and you could pretty much squish it through your fingers. We did have some bells go off in our heads that basically said that this isn't right, this isn't normal. Meanwhile, the blobs fell from the sky elsewhere, roughly half the size of grains of rice, at the farm home of Sonny Barclift. Shortly afterward, Barclift's mother, Dowdy Hearn, was hospitalized for dizziness and nausea. Barclift herself, as well as a friend, also experienced minor episodes of fatigue and nausea after handling the blobs themselves. Despite this, the doctor who treated Barclift's mother, Dr. David Little, expressed his doubt that these blobs were the cause for the symptoms. Instead, they could have resulted from an inner ear condition. Hearn herself conceded that the timing of the blobs' appearance and their symptoms could be nothing more than a coincidence. Overall, the blobs rained down on Oakville 6 times in 3 weeks. According to some sources, dozens of people got sick. Moreover, several dogs and cats died after coming in contact with it. In one attempt to identify the substance, the blobs were reported to contain human white blood cells. Upon further investigation by the Washington State Department of Ecology's Hazardous Materials Spill Response Unit, these cells from the blobs were also found to have no nuclei. Determined to find answers, nearly a year after her mother's illness, Barclift took a sample of the blobs she had stored in her freezer to a private research lab. There, a microbiologist named Tim Davis with Amtest Laboratories studied the sample. "I saw what I think was a eukaryotic cell, which is, basically, a cell that has a definable nucleus, and is found present in most animals." One popular theory suggests that the blobs were the result of bombing runs done by the nearby military in the ocean 50 miles from the farm, which could have caused an explosion within a group of jellyfish that then got dispersed into a rain cloud. Although the Air Force confirmed that bombing runs had been performed over the Pacific during that time, they denied any knowledge of the unknown substance, or any involvement in creating or dispersing it. Despite the many theories, the truth behind the blobs that fell from the sky in Oakville, Washington remains a mystery to this day. The Washington State Department has yet to provide a satisfactory explanation, and the blobs have not been seen since. The residents of Oakville are left to wonder what really happened that fateful day, and if it will ever happen again. However, the blobs were not the only strange occurrences in Oakville. Some residents reported seeing bright lights in the sky before the blobs fell to the ground, leading some to speculate that the blobs were the result of extraterrestrial activity. Others pointed to the fact that the blobs shared similar DNA with humans as evidence that they were the result of some kind of military experiment gone wrong. The Washington State Department took all known samples of the blobs and promised to get to the bottom of the mystery. But in a shocking turn of events, they somehow managed to misplace the samples and were unable to determine the cause of the strange occurrences. In the days that followed, several people in the town who had come into close contact with the blobs reported feeling ill a couple of hours afterwards. They complained of headaches, dizziness, and nausea, and some even developed rashes. "I didn't think much of it at first, but then I started feeling really sick," said one Oakville resident. "I had a terrible headache and my stomach was upset. It was like I had the flu or something." Despite the reports of illness, the Washington State Department was unable to definitively link the blobs to any health problems in the town. Without the missing samples, They were unable to conduct further testing, and the mystery of the blobs remained unsolved. As the weeks went by, the blobs stopped falling from the sky and the town returned to its normal routine. But the memory of the strange occurrences lingered in the minds of the Oakville residents, and many continued to speculate about the true nature of the blobs and their possible connection to military or extraterrestrial activity. The story of the gelatinous blobs that rained from the sky in Oakville, Washington remains a mystery to this day, and the question of their origin and the cause of the strange occurrences continues to fascinate those who heard about it. Despite the efforts of the Washington State Department and private researchers, the truth behind the blobs remains shrouded in mystery.